From the Paramount Network series Yellowstone, I'd like to welcome returning guest Wes Bentley to Sidewalks Entertainment. Hi, Wes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Now, before we talk about Yellowstone, let's take a quick look back at the beginning of your career that later led to the work that you've done over the years. You know, how did you start your career as an actor, and what was your experience like getting your first paid acting role?
Well, I was at Juilliard in New York. I'd gotten in there luckily, and but while I was there, I was sort of feeling like it didn't fit. It didn't work for me. I was interested in something else anyway. So I skipped class one day and I went to a cattle call for the first touring company of the musical Rent. And while I was standing outside waiting to
Wow.
get in, yeah, I didn't get that, but there was a casting director who walked by the line and gave me her card and said, "Will you come read for this little movie?" And so I left. I After I was done with the Rent audition, I went and auditioned for that, and 7 callbacks later, I got it. It was crazy, and I got paid for that, and it was mind blowing because in my head, I was just going to try this for a little bit and move on. If it wasn't going to work, go back to theater, go back to Arkansas. I don't know. And it worked out quick. I was very lucky.
Wow, what are the chances? So, like, imagine if you were in Rent, how that might have changed all the work that you would have done like thereafter. That would have been nuts. Yeah, your breakout role was in the Academy Award winning film American Beauty as Ricky Fitz. When you look back, what do you remember most about being a part of and working on that film?
That's a great question. That film was full of wonderful things for me because I found playing Ricky. It was it sounds cheesy, but it was spiritually good for me. I found a certain understanding of the world and a peace that I hadn't before that I feel like I partly learned from that character. And but also on set, I learned a lot from everyone on there. We had amazing crew of wonderfully legendary people and on the crew, and so I was just taking it all in, and Sam Mendes being such a great director with actors. I mean, it just basically had everything. It was my first introduction to LA. It was a good time.
At the time when you were a part of it, did you have any idea that that film was going to be so successful?
In a way, I did. When I first read that script, I remember it, and I teared up in the plastic bag scene, and I got to the end of the thing, and I just thought, with the people on this movie, I thought it would win awards. I did not think it was going to have such a big box office for the budget and for what the kind of movie it was, and I definitely didn't think the cultural impact, the music, the commercials, like the things that it sort of infused into in the late '90s and early 2000s. It was just kind of mind blowing to be a part of that. Yeah.
Yeah, many of the projects that you've been in became or are fan favorites to the point where many of them became popular cosplays and costumes for Halloween. Do you ever rewatch some of the work that you've been in, like Hunger Games, American Horror Story, Ghost Rider, Read Our Legion, yeah.
That's
Do you ever rewatch your work?
I did for I when American Beauty came out, I went on went around this tour, around the US to show it to these small audiences. We're going to open small. So I would watch that every time, every city. And then after that, for a long time, I would watch my stuff. But I over the years, I've gotten to where I have a harder time watching myself because I'm just kind of I guess I'm over the gimmick, or not the gimmick, but the kind of cool thing about being on screen. But I'm also over critiquing myself. But I try to watch stuff with my kids. They Pete's Dragon or Hunger Games. I tried to show my kids, but I think it's a little too much for them too early, so they're gonna wait on that one.
Nice, nice. That is so awesome. Yeah, apart from your work on Yellowstone, a more recent project you're in is Blade Runner Black Lotus. It's a Japanese American anime TV series. Yeah, how did you become a part of that project and what can you tell us about the series?
Well, I don't want to say too much about the series, but it's that was an amazing experience to go in and do that voice work, and they had an incredible script and a great team that were putting it together. The voice director, the animation guys, everybody was the director. They were all amazing, and it was really cool to dive into that world and to play that character, and and to it was I was very, very intimate with a microphone, in the room, like just trying to learn how to bring that character to life with just my voice.
Awesome, awesome. And now, congrats on another season of Yellowstone. Now, your character, Jamie Dutton, there's a lots going on with him. What was it like filming this latest season?
Oh wow, it was this latest season was for me the most emotionally intense, and that's saying a lot. Because Jamie's gone through
Yeah.
a but this one was the most intense because there's no foundation now. There's no Dutton foundation, where they rejected him before, but he was still
Mm-hmm.
blood. He was still in line, and he still had a stake. But now he doesn't have any of that. So he has no family, which is I think, his priority in life, some kind of connection to family. And then he also has no future because the ranch was kind of part of his idea of his future. And so, and he's also in danger now because if you're not a Dutton and you know that much and out, you might be all the way out. So I think there's a lot going on. He's also angry. He's powerful. He might want revenge himself of some way, or to get what he thinks he's owed in whatever way he can do it. But so he's in a really delicate place. I think he could go either way. He could go full on hardcore, or he could I don't know, try to find peace.
Now, going into this last season, what are your thoughts on the direction the writers went with the Duttons so far? I mean, was it anything at all of what you expected?
No, Taylor's great at this. Like every script is a new surprise, and an idea I would have never thought of, or never thought that would be so effective. And he does it. He does it every time. And I just follow
Yeah.
him. So I never have anything to say. I just want to see what's happening. Let's do it.
So, what's it like on set in scenes where there's explosions or gunshots? And in scenes where your character is in physical altercations, do you do your own stunts?
I try to do in a fight scene. I try to do as much as I can. I'm a little athletic. I can do most of it, but I never put myself in unreasonable risk, and never want anyone to. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about safety, and and the stunt guys are well trained in this kind of stuff. So if something's actually dangerous, no, I won't pretend like I'm some Superman.
Yeah, like Mission Impossible stuff. No way. Well, great, great work. Sadly, we are out of time. But again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Everyone, that was Wes Bentley from the Paramount Network series Yellowstone. You take care, Wes.
Yeah, you take care too. Thank you.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit sidewalkstv.com.